Hi, I'm Dr. Arland Hill. I'm a clinician and a former competitive athlete, and today I want to share with you a resource that I've become almost dependent upon, especially with myself and with my patients, and that's going to be SpectraCell Micronutrient testing. This is a testing methodology that I feel is absolutely imperative for athletes to look to who are really interested in maximizing their performance and recovery. And so I thought what I would do is just share a couple of things with you that I routinely see with athletes that I'm working with that many of them aren't really aware of and are probably coming to me asking the question, well, why should I do micronutrient testing? I do supplementation, I take supplements, and I'm pretty aggressive about that. So I'm correcting my nutrient deficiencies. And so what many athletes don't realize or take into consideration is a concept of supply and demand, and just how grueling and how much demand we can place on our bodies as athletes. And so one thing that I personally realized being a competitive athlete is I put a significant amount of demands on my body and depleted several nutrients that ultimately helped me balance my hormones. And it wasn't until I identified that with micronutrient testing that I was allowed to be able to recover those hormones or able to get those hormones back up and functioning again. So let me give you a few areas that I think are real critical for you not to overlook. And so the first one we're going to talk about are going to be the B vitamins. Now, B vitamins may seem like an easy one to target, and in some ways it is. A lot of people think about B vitamins for energy production, and I would definitely agree with that. And we want to make sure we don't overlook those and keep those in balance. But there's some key nutrients the key B vitamins that I've seen continue to be deficient. So the first of which is going to be B5. Now, many folks don't focus on B5. There doesn't appear to be anything terribly glamorous about B5. It's just B5. But there's some things you really want to know about this, and that is, first of all, B5, if you're interested in making testosterone, if you're interested in making cortisol, DHEA, these hormones that athletes absolutely depend upon, you can't do that without having B5 as a starter, and it's not uncommon for athletes to be deficient in this nutrient, and since it's not one that's really focused on very often, it's very commonly overlooked, and many athletes are struggling because they just simply haven't been able to identify that and replete that nutrient. Now, that's just one B vitamin. There's 8 total B vitamins. What about B12 and folate? These are two other ones that are very critical to keep an eye on. And so when we look at these two nutrients, there's a couple of things we want to keep into consideration. First of which is that, are they balanced with each other? Because a deficiency in one or the other is going to create the same problem as a deficiency in both of these. And so when you're looking to regenerate tissues, when you're looking to heal and repair, that's a natural byproduct of having adequate B12 and folate to help replicate new DNA, to help replicate new tissue so that you can recover at a speedily pace. Now, in thinking about this recovery process, there's several nutrients that come into play. The first of which is another of which is going to be glutamine. The majority of our muscle tissue is made up of glutamine. So if we go out and we do a long endurance run, or we do a resistance training bout, it's going to be crucial that we have adequate glutamine available to make sure that muscle tissue recovers at the rate and in the way that it should at a consistent pace. So definitely we want to know about glutamine. And something else to note with glutamine is that this is what's considered a conditionally essential amino acid. So many individuals can't make enough of this amino acid to keep up with, again, their demand. It's all about supply and demand here, and you really want to know, is your supply, whether that's through diet, supplementation, or other, keeping up with your demand? Now, let me point out one last one here for you, and that's going to be your antioxidants. And antioxidants are critical for a number of reasons. First of which is that they help offset some of the byproducts that can be detrimental when it comes to energy production. A lot of times these are referred to as free radicals or pro-oxidants, hence the name antioxidants, because they combat those. But those antioxidants are very essential when we start talking about inflammation. And for any of you that have succumb to an athletic injury and are looking to heal and recover fast enough, that is made much easier when you have adequate amount of antioxidants on board. And there's several different antioxidants that serve roles not just in acting as anti-inflammatories and helping with the recovery process, but they also act in ways of being able to protect tissues that we don't get from other nutrients as well. So definitely look at those. So in some parting words here that I'll leave for you, when you're thinking about as an athlete really fine-tuning, the thought process that I would leave you here with is, don't take that process to chance. Take all the guesswork out of it and nail down exactly what your needs are. And for those of you that are thinking, well, I take supplements, my point to you would be, find out exactly what you need. Save your money and don't waste it on things that you're sufficient in. Invest that time, resources, and money in things that you need to replete, that are going to help you be a better athlete, recover faster, and have longevity in the athletic activity that you're engaged in. Hey, I appreciate you taking the time, and I hope you take advantage of the micronutrient test. Take care, guys. Dr. Arland Hill.